When the Icarus X series race was postponed, Matt hatched a big, audacious trip.
And there's the view you can see, broken cloud above us, and then higher level cloud, which is not an issue. We're just about to join the Hume Highway. This is going to be a great trip. Well, all trips flying are great. Here we are heading up the Hume Highway from Lake Hume near Albury. Everything looks fantastic. Engine's going well, 158 degrees centigrade, 5,400 revs. There's fog to the east of us, but quite a way away, and there's fog to Albury. There's the view, about 10 nautical miles south of Holbrook. There's quite a large hill here on the right, as you can see, with a couple of towers on it, various other hills around it. And if you look up, you might be able to see Matt right in the center of the screen, just above that lower cloud bank. He's quite a way away. This might be a good time to say something about why I fly. I fly because I can. Absolutely fascinated by flight. Flown a hang glider for quite a while, on and off. Tried to learn in the mid-70s, and actually quite grateful that I didn't learn, because hang gliders used to fall apart then. We know much more about hang gliders and slow flight now, so the hang gliders nowadays are very safe compared to what they were back in the mid-70s. So really grateful for all the pioneers of hang gliding. Sorry some of them had to learn the very hard way, but hang gliding, or hang gliders, are relatively safe compared to, well, definitely very safe compared to what they were. Anyway, about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, started to learn how to fly a paramotor. Absolutely fantastic. Leonardo da Vinci would be very envious. What other aircraft can you have your wing on the back seat of your car, the motor on the tow bar, and it's set up in 20 minutes or 15 minutes, and then fly and do quite reasonable flights? My motor is, I carry 14 litres of fuel, of which 13 is usable, and I fly at about 40 kilometres an hour, and I burn about 5 litres of fuel per hour. So we're talking almost, well, 100 kilometres basically fuel range. I've also got an external fuel tank which can carry 10 litres or 9 litres more likely, so that extends my flight out quite a way. But with a standard fuel tank, I'm getting 100 kilometres and flights of 2.5 hours. If I use the winds aloft, I could get 3 hours or 3.5 hours. So that is absolutely fantastic. This trip, we've been supported by our car. Alex Smith has been driving for us, and she's been absolutely fantastic, tracking where we are and being where we land, pretty much when we land. So that's been fantastic. But I'll start to do more trips like this. You need to do quite a bit of preparation. Need to carry oil with you, Vivi, emergency tools, all of those sorts of things. But I will be planning to do these sort of flights. Got a bit of problem with my eyes. I don't like flying with glasses. Unfortunately, in the wind, my eyes water a bit. So, but yeah, that is a minor price to pay for the fantastic view. I'll just give you a look at the view out the front. Here we're coming up on the wonderful little town of Holbrook. You can see the highway going past the town, bypassing it to the west. Thought this was a good time to say something about this trip. It's been a fantastic trip. Prepared for the Icarus X series, but unfortunately that was postponed due to rain. So Matt arranged another trip, not the Icarus adventure. We headed off from Canberra, or attempted to take off out at Lake George, but it was too foggy, so we had to drive west to get clear sky. We ended up taking off at Harden, which was great at their little airport, council-owned airport. A fantastic resource that the council provides. I ended up having an engine out at south of Cootamundra, but did a landing and used one of Matt's spare spark plugs that he brought. I need to return that to him or buy a new one. Learned a lot on this flight. One is obviously to have several new spark plugs with me. We then drove to Lockhart, or Matt flew quite a way, but I drove to Lockhart, took off from Hoffy's place, had planned to get to Jerilderie Airport, but we had to divert due to fog, and ended up landing at Oaklands. Took off from Oaklands and then landed at Ardmurna near Shepparton. That was quite a long day, but fantastic. So spent the evening with Dale and his wife, which was fantastic. Slept at Dale's place. Thank you again, Dale, and your wife. And now then we had a day of just looking at little towns in northern Victoria, Millawa, cheese and wine, and drove to Lake Hume, to the excellent Great Australian Caravan Park at Lake Hume. Took off from Lake Hume this morning about 8, and it's probably 9:30 now. Just flying over Holbrook. I'll give you a better view of it. You can see it down there, the golf course and the oval, the industrial area, and then the airport must be out on the other side. There you can see the view out the front. Matt is on quite a faster glider than I am. I can see him, he's a little bit lower than me, but just in line with the Hume Highway that you can see in the distance. We've just passed Holbrook, and our goal in this leg is to get to Tarcutta, which we probably should in about an hour. Land there, refuel, maybe have some lunch, take off from Tarcutta behind the pub, and fly to Jugeon. stay there tonight, and then fly hopefully into Canberra. I'll just turn around a bit. You can see there's a pocket of fog out to the east. You should be able to see that now. That's going up into the mountains towards Tubit. But we're very glad we've got no fog in front of us at all. You can see there's some smoke down there. So the wind is still blowing easterly down low, but at our altitude it is blowing west. So we've got a little bit of a tailwind, but flying crosswind.
Overall, a fantastic trip which ended at the Tarcutta pub. Thanks to Chris and Alex's excellent driving and Matt's planning. And thanks also to Andrew Polidano from Polyglide and Jan Smith for getting a replacement line to me.